Alright, we should be live. Microphone looks good. Okay, and we are back to building Bilbo, because I am done with Final Fantasy 16 for the time being. That was the most fun I've had with Final Fantasy in a good long while. Certainly the mainline games. Um, like, the sequels to 13 were okay. 13 was, you know, one of the weaker entries, and 15 was had too much important stuff not physically in the game. Like there was too much context to what was going on in like a movie and an anime miniseries that were released around the same time, and there was too much story in the DLCs that should have just been in the main game. You know, so it feels like they paid attention to a lot of those criticisms, though. Like, there's enough exploration in 16 and enough, like, as far as I can tell, we're not missing anything super important storyline wise in 16. Like, we get enough of the backstory of the characters, and we don't miss out on important character interactions. Like, there's a lot of good, fun character interactions built into the side quest too. So, whereas in 15 you would just drive around, kill a monster, hang out with the guys, and that would be it. Like, with this one, you do a side quest and then you interact with the character that asked you to do the side quest, and you learn a little bit about them, and you have some like back and forth dialogue and everything. So yeah, I think 16. The only thing, and this is kind of a whatever nitpick because I really like Kingdom Hearts, so moving the combat system closer to that, in that there's a lot of blocking, dodging, countering involved in the fight mechanics, as opposed to a turn-based strategy game, which honestly I miss that, and I know there are games that are using that, like Octopath Traveler and Bravely Default and whatnot, and I just never got into those. I do wish they would do a retro Final Fantasy game, like, do it like Final Fantasy 6 style, like 16-bit graphics, sprite characters, all of that. Nice, long, involved story and everything. I would love something like that. Like, I really enjoyed After Years, and After Years was kind of like a thrown together mobile phone game, but with no gotcha system, just like a game designed to play on the phone with like chapters and whatnot. But I did enjoy that because it was a nice throwback to classic Final Fantasy games. And that one had been out for like, I think, decades by the time I got my hands on it, even, like, or a decade or something. Like, it was not new back when I got to play it, and that was probably in and of itself a decade ago. When, like, it was on like the Wii, I think, was where I played it. So, like, they released it so you could download it. But yeah, I absolutely enjoyed the game. The only gripe I might have is that we are officially completely removed from controlling multiple characters and having um, a turn-based combat system, which I do miss about the Final Fantasies. But if we're going to go in this direction, I think they did a very good job with it. Like, there were some enemies where I could not get the dodge timing down at all, or the dodge, like, location, like, in order to get, because sometimes I can pass through their attacks with the dodge, and sometimes I can't, and I couldn't tell which ones gave me enough iframes and which ones had hitboxes that I was going to be able to pull this off with. And so I would instinctively dodge into the moves with some of them. Like, Atlas enemies were just misery for me. But I still had a fun time with the game overall. It was a lot of fun. And in case you couldn't tell by the fact that I took like 2.5 weeks off of doing basically anything else and just played the absolute hell out of that game until I made it to the end of the story. Excuse me. But anyway, we're back. We were almost at the end of the card selection with Bilbo, and then that came out, and I did not want to have anything spoiled, so I'm glad I went through the game because there are a lot of things that could have gotten spoiled for me, and because so this is a problem that I had with Kingdom Hearts when 3 came out. So first of all, the trailers had way too many spoilers in them. That was terrible. There was so much stuff that they could. It's Kingdom Hearts. You didn't need to spoil like half the story in the first. Like the first trailer had one of the biggest stupid spoilers, and then it got everybody hyped for it, and then it turned out to not be. Like, it didn't last in the story, it was just, like, a thing, and if we had have encountered that organically in the story, it would have blown my mind when it happened. And the fact that it was over so quickly would not have been a huge deal. Instead, they spoiled it in the very first trailer for the game, and... I mean, the game's been out for forever. It's the Dark Aqua scene. Like... Now, granted, I did appreciate some of the memes that came out of that one. My favorite will always be the showing Aqua, Terra, and Ventus together in Birth by Sleep, where she's giving them the Wayfinder charms, and she's just like, and we'll never be apart, we'll always find our way back to each other, and we'll always be together. And then that scene is followed immediately by Terranort, Vanitas possessed Ventus, and Dark Aqua, and the title is just like, Aqua, no, what did you do? Stupid monkey's paw. But yeah. And there's no way I would have been able to avoid that one. Like, even if I did not watch the trailer, I would have seen that. But also, so, when I was playing Union Cross, the mobile game for Kingdom Hearts, I used to have to look up, like, poll videos and whatnot, and medal assessments for the game. So I was always looking at things that were related to Kingdom Hearts. So, literally within 3 hours of the DLC drop for Remind, there was a video on, like, the top of my recommended list showing, what's his name? The guy from Yozora. The guy from the video game in Toy Story World. Showing Yozora with the caption, Kingdom Hearts Remind DLC Final Secret Boss. It's like, are you serious? I haven't even finished downloading it yet, and you're showing me the boss. Like, there was no indication you were going to fight this guy until you start fighting this guy. So, because I do a lot of stuff with Opera Omnia, which is a Final Fantasy mobile game, I wanted to make sure I was done with 16 before people started posting all their videos and analysis and their, here's the final boss fight and everything. So, just to avoid all of that, I wanted to play through the entire game pretty much as quickly as I could. Like, almost every spare minute I've had has been playing this game. I think I did one video with Bilbo back towards the beginning because I had like an hour tops and I wasn't going to be able to get anything done in the game, so I wanted to work on this. But anyway, we're like almost 10 minutes in, so let's get back to it. So we did the Urza's block according to my notes last time, so that leaves us on Visions. I get some water because I've been talking this whole time. Alright, Akujin, no. Well, Bogarden. You lose one life and return it to your hand, but it happens at the beginning of the next end step. So without any way to flash this in, we can only cast it every turn, in theory. So probably not. We do have a lot of things that trigger off creatures coming into play and dying, so a non-token creature that's recursive has a tiny bit of value, but I think we'd be better off with things like reassembling skeleton at that point. And I don't think any of them are even on the list, so I have to go back over the list because I forget like 70% of the cards I put on it now because it's been so long and I haven't even thought about this that much. Yeah, normally when I'm not working on the deck, I'm at least thinking about it. You know, I'm at work, things are boring, I'm going over in my head, well, maybe if we cut these or add these in or something like that. Yeah, no, none of that. I've been, like, wholly invested in 16 this whole time. Don't need Eye of Singularity. The Eye is okay, and we do have cards like Nevermore on the list, but I feel like this is the type of deck where somebody is more likely to decide to mess with me than to mess with the other players. Because this deck starts to feel like it deserves messing with very quickly, I think. Honorable Passage deals that much damage to that source's controller. But it only prevents the damage to the target creature. This isn't like that other one where if we hit something like Blasphemous Act, we would just gain like 10 trillion life or something. This only prevents the damage to one of the things that would be affected by it, so. Also, it's dealing damage instead of gaining me life, which would be way better if it worked that way. Excuse me. No Decay of Expite. Catabatic Winds. No. Valor. Move a -1/-1 count from it. Nope. No. Don't think we need natural order for anything. Like, there are certainly cards in the deck that I wouldn't mind tutoring for, but. And we do have a bunch of little creatures that we can theoretically sacrifice to it, although we do need to sack one of the green ones, which we have a lot more white than green. So probably not, although, like, our bigger creatures are frequently in green. Is there any creature I would desperately want to untap with Quirion Ranger on our list? What creatures do I have that I would want to untap? Because returning the forest to our hand lets us replay the forest to gain landfall triggers, which are mostly life gain based anyway. So the question then becomes, well, what creatures, if any, do I get value from untapping? And only a little bit in, but so far nothing. Is there anything with a good tap activated ability? There's something that's gaining me a ton of life just by activating it. I'm not seeing anything yet. Silent Arbiter, Kami, Patron. Go, Rune Tail, Seed the Land. Alright, Seed the Land is anybody's landfall, makes a 1/1. That's why I was running it, because I gain life for opponents' creatures coming into play on a bunch of my things. They're only 1/1, so if they don't have ways to benefit from all these extra tokens. That's true. I never went back and added the mirror generator or whatever it's called that has a similar effect from original mirrored. I think it's original mirrored in block, where it's like creature comes into play, you also get a 1/1 mirror, the non-token. Children of Koilos, no. Mangara of Corindor. When can I activate only once per turn? But I could activate it again, like bounce the forest back to my hand to untap Mangara to activate him again, since him being in play is not contingent on him exiling the permanent. But I don't know that I have enough other stuff that works with him like to actively exile him in response to his activated ability, so probably not. Red, Purity, the Revelark. That requires me to have the mana anyway, so untapping it doesn't do much good. Like, why did I not just spend that mana? I lost out on one life by activating it again because I have to spend the hybrid green-white to activate it, so. Death Greeter, Ranger, Stone, Ulamog. Does not look like it, does it? Garden, no. Blood Artist, Avacyn. Trostani would be worth untapping. Pontiff. Asa. She has Vigilance, right? Yeah. I was thinking, like, untapping Teysa, but she's protected from Quirion Ranger's ability anyway. I couldn't untap her with it, even if I wanted to, even if she wasn't vigilant. Forcer, some of the gods, Sunscorch Regent, Restless Hunger, Cutthroat. I'm sorry, Ulamog. He probably ate his, like, missing E there. Ceaseless Hunger indeed. Ilea doesn't tap to do any of her things. Bygone Bishop. Bruna. Aether Flux. Atharia the Consuls. Campbell doesn't do anything. Tapping Gideon doesn't do anything. Razakath. Excavator. Sun's Avatar. Vona. Does Vona tap to do her thing? Tap and pay 7 life. So untapping Vona would be relevant. So we're up to 2. We're up to 2 things that really get a benefit from untapping them. So yeah, I'm not feeling it. If I can find like something where it's just like, yes, that thing, and then we have the other 2, then maybe. But so far, no. None of these. Barrier Breach, Interlude. Oops. Space there. Brood Moth, Lurus, Nethroi, Aya, Valkyrie, Harbinger. Alchemist. Alchemist would be a thing to untap. Professor Onyx, Witch, Shadrix, Guardian, Priest of Ancient Lore, Inkber, Skeletal Swarming, Book of Exalted, Belisara, Lysa, Veteran, Splendor. No. Yeah, okay, I'm almost all the way through the list and I'm not seeing anything, so. Ooh, Retribution of the Meat. A lot of our creatures are tiny and I'm not looking to grow them. That might actually be a wrath worth playing in this deck. Although at that point, I guess I would want the Battle of Bywater instead. Because that would give me food tokens to gain life with. Hey, Righteous Aura was originally from Visions, because I have that listed in the Mercadian Mass section. I forgot that was a reprint from Visions originally. Oh, it has to be a basic land card, so probably not then. Scalebane's Elite. Resources. Wildebeests. Summer Bloom. Puzzle Box is mildly tempting for cards like Sholdred. But that's more killing the opponent faster. It does gain me a ton of life because I'm drawing all the extra cards, but I think we have enough other card draw where I don't need to do that. 5. Copy Orangutan. Yeah, we probably want Vamp Tutor. Kind of hard to say no to some of the better tutoring effects. Unless I have good reason to. Or I'm very intentionally building a deck that doesn't have such things in it, despite being able to run them. Okay, so Visions. Visions was War of the Spark. At 21 minutes. Return a creature, return a planeswalker. +1, gain 3 life. -2. Yeah, I don't think I need Great Hearted for anything. Blink Haste, no. Ocean. Edge. Bolus's Citadel. Definitely something to do with all this life I'm gaining. It's 3 black, black, black for an artifact. Yeah, black might be my tertiary color, but that is definitely something worth casting in this deck. Creatures you control gain lifelink. Nah. 5 life. I could do better than that for that casting cost. Like, I could have a smaller creature that gains me a similar amount of life and has a large defensive side. And you all know my opinions on Casualties of War. So let's just go ahead and add that in now. If you've missed all of my videos when we've gotten to this card, it is probably my least likely to get cut card in a black-green deck. Like, it just does so much for the 6 mana at sorcery speed. Like, it is ridiculous how good that card is. Gains life and taps for mana, but no. 5 lifelink? No. Choose any number of target creature and or planeswalker cards in graveyards. Deal damage equal to their total mana value to me, and then put them onto the battlefield under my control. That is actually super tempting as a thing to do with all this life. That would stop me from losing a game, and probably win me the game most of the time. Yeah, if anything, I'd be more worried. Although we do exile a lot of our opponent's things, but I can bring back my own stuff. Yeah, no, I can see Command the Dreadhorde being good in this deck. It's 4 black, black for a sorcery, I believe. Yep, okay. Or another creature or planeswalker you control dies. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Well, we do have the other similar creatures, so I guess this is more of a which ones will I run? Vampire Cleric? Vampire Rogue? Just a vampire. It's a plain old vampire. This vampire does not have a job. Her parents are very disappointed in how she just lays around all day, celebrating whatever's going on in the most cruel way possible. Don't think we need Davriel. Death Sprout. Probably want to consider D-Spark for my whole exiling removal package. I think we usually wind up cutting D-Spark, though, because we don't have enough room for so much removal. And we have a bunch of other things on the list, but... probably don't need, like... The Dreadhorde invasion is not as good as Bitter Blossom, because we're not always making the creature. Like, if I knew the token was gonna die every turn, I would be, like, all in for that. Because we gain so much life from creatures coming in and dying that we would net gain life even if the token didn't actually accomplish anything else. Enforcer Griffin, Eternal Taskmaster, Lucian Sage. Don't think we need any of the finalities. Finale, actually. Gideon Blackblade. -6, exile target non-land permanent. Like, that's okay. It's not amazing, though. Here's a creature, planeswalker you control. All damage that would be dealt this turn to you and permanents you control is dealt to the chosen permanent instead. Don't think we need Bantu. Or Oketra. Or Ronus, for that matter. Grateful Apparition, no. Each creature signs based on their toughness. Gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Meh. Knight, Iron Bully, Yang Yu, rather. Don't think we need Great Creator. Bane of the Dead. Death Touch Lifelink. Think we need Dreadhorde General. Osa. Oath of Kaya. I don't think we have enough planeswalkers is the issue. Like, it would gain us a few extra life. It's not terrible for that, but I don't think we need it. Alien for anything. Ah, 7 mana, gain 16 life. In all seriousness, though, I don't think I would need this for anything. Pledge. Prison Realm, Ravnica at War. Single combat. Creatures and planeswalkers you control have lifelink. Like, it's alright. It's not amazing, though. Spark Reaper were way less mana intensive to activate. The gain a life and draw a card would actually be really good, I think. AO. Elder spell. Wanderer is okay, but not needed. Don't need Samir. Click for anything. Again. Opportunist. Vivian. No. Zir. Go with death to. Counter on that. Nope. And Ward Scale Crocodile. Okay. Or the Spark. Not for me. On to Warhammer, where I'll have to read all of the cards because I forget 90% of them. Choose a creature type, get +1/+0 and indestructible. Flying, lifelink, beginning of your end step, return target creature with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. Maybe. Okay. I think last time it wouldn't find Warhammer for me for some reason. So her name is Celestine. Living Saint. 4 and a white, human warrior. Alright, so it's her. Create X2/2s, exile it, create X2/2s, only no creatures and only during my turn. Emperor, no. No. Squad, destroy up to 1 target artifact or enchantment. First strike, vigilance, enters the battlefield, more lands than you, get a plains card. Combat damage, 1/1 counter. 5 mana, 5/5 lifelink. Dies, exile top 6 cards face down, and then has Miracle, white and 1. Squad 2, and an Anthem. Commanders have protection from everything. Squad flying, vigilance, and Miracle. Attacks, you may cast an artifact spell by paying life equal to its mana value. I don't think I have enough artifacts in the deck. What are my artifacts? This is going to be a huge thing to search up. Yeah, there's like 52 plus. It's including all the things. All the art in Earth. Soul Ring. Crawl Space. Why did I spell out artifact for crawl space? That's weird, considering how I normally do this. Elder cares about artifacts. Well of Lost Dreams. Crucible of Worlds. Sensei's Top. Cauldron of Souls. Spencer's Journal. Pristine Talisman. Conjurer's Closet. Bow of Nylea. Burnished Heart. Whip of Erebos. Aetherflux Reservoir. Also, Aetherflux Reservoir. Panharmonicon. Helm of Hosts. Pulse Citadel. Altar of the Pantheon. Cosmos Elixir. Exalted Deeds. Haywire Might. Spectrum Sentinel, Gondor, the One Ring, Serve Immortality, Perilous Vault, Hamlet's Archive, Orbs of Warding, Idol of Endurance, Arcane Signet, Last Cast Heart. Yeah, most of these are not artifacts that are going to the graveyard on their own. So getting to recast them whenever this thing attacks doesn't seem like a huge deal. -3, -3. Hard. Okay, the Great Unclean one is kind of funny. Beginning of your end step, each opponent loses 2 life. Then for each opponent who has less life than you, you make a 1/3. So that can easily make a creature per turn, or per turn cycle for each opponent I control. Starting at the beginning of my like that end step too, if it lives. So yes, we will consider that one then. So the Great Unclean one. Turn a black. A demon. Oops. Or 5. Can't be blocked except by 6 or more creatures. An amount of black equal to the sacrificed creature's mana value. Enters the battlefield, each player sacks a creature. Your graveyard to your hand. With power less than that creature's power. Yeah, most of my guys are tiny, so no. To create X. X can't be greater than the amount of life you lost this turn. It's always at the beginning of my end step. I do lose life to a bunch of my effects, but that's not a huge thing in the deck. It's more like I can afford to lose life, so I don't care. Destroy up to 1 target creature, and target player mills 3 cards. Target opponent loses X life. Inscription. Return to his hand and create a 1/3. The player loses that much life instead. That's a very dangerous card to put in this deck because it could very easily wind up under somebody else's control. And I already have. I think I already went over that with Erebos, like original Erebos, and that's why he's not in the deck, even though he would let me trade life for cards, basically, and life and some mana for cards, but we already had greed, so I decided against it. Search your library for a basic swamp, put in your hand, then shuffle. Whenever you cast a spell from anywhere other than your hand. Or another non-token artifact, non-token creature. It's put into a grave. Oh, but it's non-token. Non-token. It's eye control. Yeah, there's too much negative stuff going on. We have other things to interact with the opponent's artifacts dying anyway. I think only deals damage, it doesn't gain me life. Shard of the Nightbringer is funny with how this deck works. Like, target player loses half their life, and then if I have any of the life gain multipliers, I'm gonna gain so much life from doing that. Like, even if they've already taken a bunch of damage, like if they lose 10 life, I could theoretically gain like anywhere between 11 and like near infinite, like 100 life. 100 life seems unreasonable. Probably something in like the 50s, like high 40s, low 50s. I have at least two life gain doublers, so that would be 10 to 20 to 40, except that we also have Bilbo, so it'd be 11 to 22 to 44. So yeah, probably like mid 40s is possible. But we could gain a huge amount of life if somebody else has a ton of life. And it's in no danger of killing them because it's always only half their life. That being said, most of my things are cheap. And this thing is an 8 drop and triple black. Not that I should have any problems with triple black if I have 8 mana, but still. If a creature died this turn, you draw a card and lose a life. If 7 creatures or more died this turn, instead you draw 7 cards and lose 7 life. Um, it's only at the beginning of my end step if the creature died, though. Like, it's not terrible. I suppose we will consider it. So this is the element. Oops. Of Nurgle. It's 2 and a black. Astaartes. Warrior. That's a real word? Okay. Destroy all non-artifact creatures now. Create X, tap 2/2 black Necron warrior creature artifact creature tokens, then gain life equal to the number of artifacts you control. Exile their number is Legion. It's quad black though, so probably not. Plus, I don't have a ton of artifacts to gain life with. Like, I'm not making tons of treasure or anything, I don't think. So I've forgotten a card or two that are going to make it in the deck. Battlefield. Artifacts in your. Nope. Another creature dies. No. Draw 3, lose 3. Mill 3 cards. Mana value 8 or less from your graveyard. Return them to the battlefield. They are artifacts in addition to their other types. Excuse me. Creature attacks, put 4 counters on it. Battlefield, distribute X counters. Nope. Under opponent's control. 3/3. Trample. 5/5. And attacks, you may remove counter, search your library for a basic land, onto the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. There's the battlefield, search your library for up to X. Oh, and it's green and XX. Create a number of 1/1 tokens equal to Swarm's power. Trample. Deals combat damage to a player. Create that many 1/1s. All lands have tap, add 1 mana of any color, and lose all other abilities. The number of opponents you have. X counters, sacrifice it, creatures you control. Player loses 2 life. Nope. Attacks, each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of other attacking creatures. You gain 2 life and draw a card. I did say that I would probably be interested in the one thing if it were cheaper to activate from War of the Spark. This is the same initial mana cost, except, it's a white instead of one of the colorless. And I can sacrifice another creature to gain 2 life and draw a card. Ooh, excuse me. Do I actually want that, though? It is not a terrible activated ability to have. Okay, I'll consider the Commissar. Commissar. Severina. 1 white black human soldier 2/2. Well, apparently her first name. I can't really tell. It is a real word that, like, I can understand the Commissar. I've seen other people named Rain or Rains before in various things, so I'm not surprised that's a real word. But I was not expecting the first name to be. Once non-land permanents lose indestructible, then destroy all non-land permanents. I don't think we need that. Attacks gains indestructible. Nope. As a battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You gain life equal to its mana value. The only downside to that is that I would very frequently be getting back like a one mana value creature or something. Don't think we need the sister. I do like the gain 2 life, draw 2 cards. That's neat, but there's a battlefield exile graveyard for each artifact or land. Make a 1/1. Permanent. Block deals combat damage. I can spend mana to sack it and get lands from my deck. Other artifact creatures you control have hexproof. Under 3. You would lose the game. Instead, exile the Golden Throne and your life total becomes 1. Sacrifice a creature, add 3 mana. I don't think I need that as a fallback thing. Plus, I can see, like, losing the game because I stopped a player from winning the game in a different way. You know, like if you stop Thassa's Oracle or something from happening and then you die because you go to 1, like I might not be able to gain life in such quantities immediately. Oh, excuse me. Like, I feel like a deck with the Golden Throne has to care way more about the second ability being useful than the first one, and at that point, I probably just want, like, the 2 altars, Ashnods and Phyrexia. If I'm gonna sack my creatures for mana. Create a 2/2. Damage, no. No. 5 damage to each opponent. Exile a creature from my graveyard. If a creature has lifelink, dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. But it equips for 4, so probably not. I need the scepter. Ship. Tomb Fortress. Whenever one or more artifacts leaves the graveyard, create 2/2. The artifact creature gets +2/+2 and menace. And mill 3 cards. You may put an artifact creature card or vehicle card into your hand. Nope. Okay. Those are all the Warhammer cards. We're at 53 minutes, but we're almost at the end, too. I think I just pushed through since we spent so much time not working on the deck. I just pushed through the last couple sets in order to get through it. So this might be like an hour and a half long thought instead of the normal hour I've been shooting for. Don't need abeyance. Gatekeeper, no. No. Put into a graveyard from the battlefield. If you do, return that creature to the battlefield. No. Find Aura. Number of creature cards in my graveyard, no. No. Gain control of it. Gives everything Shroud. Oh, but only from spells, not abilities. That's why it's worded like that. Staff, no to Doomsday. I don't think we need Blessing. We already have Ulamog and Nylea's Bow, so probably unnecessary. Wisdom. Misery. Cumulative upkeep, pay 2 life, prevent all damage that will be dealt to creatures you control. No. Armor. Hollows. Sentinel. And a web, no. No. Yeah, I don't think we need Mischievous Poltergeist. Like, it's fine for being able to block things and live through any removal that doesn't, get around regeneration. But I think there's plenty of that in Commander to the point where I'm spending 3 mana for a 1/1 flyer. It's going to die anyway. And Nature's Kiss. Very tempted with Peacekeeper. Like, just stop everybody from attacking. While she's out. Yeah, I don't think we need Revered Unicorn. I'm still debating on the Peacekeeper. We might still add it. A creature card from your graveyard, you gain 1 life. I'll be a free Urborg Justice. Up all creatures. Ending upkeep. Don't think so. Alright, so do I want the Peacekeeper at all? Suppose we could consider her. This is Weatherlight. White, human. Just a human. I guess her creature type was probably Peacekeeper then, originally. I forget what her actual printed creature type is. Yeah, it is Peacekeeper. Okay. I was gonna say that's the only thing that makes sense because it had to be a creature type that doesn't exist anymore. Welcome decks, World Wake. So World Wake and the 2 Zendikars and the Zendikar commander deck, like Zendikar not united. Whatever. We'll figure it out when we get there. I can't win the game, and opponents can't lose the game. I do want them to lose eventually out of frustration, if nothing else, and they can always concede, but still, that's a bit much, stopping me from outright winning the game. With flying enters the battlefield, equal to its power. Don't think we need that. Such lifelink is not terrible. Avenger of Zendikar is also not terrible for the sheer volume of things it can put into play. Alright, let's go to World Wake. I will consider Zendikar. 5 green for an elemental. Yeah, if it's anything else. Elemental 5/5. Nope, okay. S-list Collar, probably not. Ritualist. Don't think we need Bojuka Bog as a backup. Graveyard Hate card, but if I feel like we don't have enough, or if I want to cut one of them from the main deck, but I want to keep the effect in there, then we'll put it back in. Don't need the Butcher. No. Yeah, maybe not. Death Shadow. Sorry. Explore. Feral Contest. No. Nope. Running enough vampires to gain life off of them dying. We do have a few, but not many. Whenever a player casts a red spell, you may gain one life. Would I want Core Firewalker just randomly in the deck? Probably not. I would put him in and then wind up cutting him. Like, if I had more room for. If this were a mono white deck, I could actually see running him just as a, oh, I'm immune to, like, I can block red creatures all day, and you casting red creatures is giving me life anyway, so. Multi kicker gains 2 life. Anthem. Father with Nature's Claim. Nova Blast Worm. OG Omnath. Don't have enough defenders for a perimeter captain to matter that much. Keep starting to lose my voice. Hey, more water then. um, that damage is preventing this way deals that much damage to any target. Don't think so. Ruin Ghost probably isn't good enough. Flickering my land just to get more landfall triggers, probably not worth it. If it's a land card, you may gain 1 life, landfall, untap it. Yeah, I'm not gonna have room for that. It's funny. Like, I like the idea of exiling their, like, the top card of their library, partially as a long drawn out win con to getting them closer to actually decking out, and partially because it potentially gains me life. So both of those are amusing to me, but I don't think I have room in the deck for it, is the issue. Gains protection from the color of my choice. I don't think I need the Seer Sundial. Yeah, I think I have enough card advantage cards already. That's not a huge deal. Also, don't think I have a ton of equipment in this deck, so I don't need Stoneforge Mystic. If I am running Batterskull, which I genuinely cannot remember if I am or not. I don't need Terra Eternal. Nope, okay. That was World Wake. To Zendikar. Zendikar Rising, that was the other one. Alright, so 2 more full-size sets and 1 commander set that shouldn't have much of anything. Alright, well, we're adding in all of the land, all the fetch lands, so. And Arid Mesa. I don't think we need the refuge lands also, plus we can only run the white-green one anyway. For each equipment attached to it. Damage divided. No. Torch, Bloodseeker. Yeah, I don't need the opponents to lose life. I need to gain life. Alright, as much as Blood Chief's Ascension kills the other players, there is a part of me that likes the idea of gaining 2 life every time a card goes to their graveyard from anywhere. So maybe I can see cutting it because I'm not going to be able to turn it on that often. Black. Damn it. It is just the one black, right? Right. Okay. Don't think we need Bloodghast. The 6 mana aura, and the creature has to get through for damage. Like, it's hilarious. But I don't know that I would actually want this in the deck. I am imagining it on something like the Avara, although that's almost definitely not making it in the deck. It's like, I exchange my life total for its power, and then it gets +3/+3 on top of that and has lifelink. Then I deal damage and I gain that much life, and then I gain that much life. Since the lifelink is a static and wouldn't trigger, I would just have gained the life already when the damage is dealt. So this would go on the stack afterwards. I don't even have to worry about timing issues and whether or not I could stack them properly. Cobra Trap, 6/1/1s or 12. Devout Lightcaster is a little bit, like, tiny bit tempting just because it would exile the permanent anyway. And I do have a bunch of blink effects, so against players that happen to have black, like a lot of black permanents, I could start exiling them, but it's not. It's triple white, so that's already kind of hard to cast even with um, my deck being like white, green, black in that order of prevalence. You can't sacrifice the monument. No. I don't think we need a Maria Angel, despite the fact that I'm already trying to gain life off of landfall, and this means that landfall also triggers all of my creature-based life gain. Still probably not quite good enough. I don't think I'm going to bother with Felidar Sovereign. Like, yes, I can very, very easily win the game just by casting it, but that's not how I want to win with this deck. Do I want the Grazing Gladeheart? It gives me 2 life per land, whereas a lot of things are giving me like 1 life per land, but it also isn't doing anything else. You know, like Courser of Krufix lets me play the land off of the top of the deck. I don't know if gaining 2 life per land pushes this into playability at all for our deck. I guess I will consider the Grey Pelt Refuge since I believe I'm considering the other, like the Khans of Tarkir version. Greenweaver Druid. Spectre, the Vampire, Diabolist, Halo Hunter for anything. Can't run Iona. I think we need the Expedition. Cartographer. Any of these core, actually. Landbind Ritual, Lotus Cobra, Narc Ascension, Marsh Flats. Oops. Nope, I can't find that. There it is. Probably is 2 words. Right, Marsh Flats is 2 words. Yeah, it is. There's Misty Rainforest. Okay. I don't need Mold Shambler. Arrowscape, no. Needle Bite. Nisa. Double Vestige. Oh. Don't have enough allies for Undo Cleric. I can consider Oracle of Moldiah. I have enough things that gain me life for land coming into play anyway, that getting access to more land is not a bad thing. And we get the extra landfall. Druid, I believe. Let's double check that. Elf Shaman. Wow, not even close. Not even kind of close. I mean, yes, they're both humanoids, and Shaman and Druid are the 2 nature things, but yeah, like, neither one of them was right, so I'm not gonna give me any points for that one. No, no, no. Nope. On Scalding Tarn. I mean, technically I can, but it literally does nothing, so don't think I want to bother with Sorin. Sunspring Expedition. Ooh. Think I need Nighthawk for anything? Catacombs, yes. Lines of the Vastwood, no. World Queller, and Far Guide. Alright. One more set, and its corresponding commander decks, and then we're all done with card selection. Yeah, looks like we're going to like close to an hour and a half for this one, but that's okay. I don't think I need the Undercrypt. Trying to remember what the subtitle for Agadim was. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you and that player each gain that much life. If you have at least 15 more life than your starting life total, each player Angel of Destiny attack this turn loses the game. I don't think I want this. This feels too much like the Felidar Sovereign. Like, I like the part where it's like, instead of them losing life, I just gain that much life, and they stay neutral normally. Like, I like that aspect of it. If that's all it did, if it was a way to turn all of your things from killing your opponent to gaining, like, if it were an option, it's like, instead of dealing damage, you can gain this much life instead, or you can have both players gain that much life instead, so that way lifelink triggers still happen. I would be down for it, but because it would actually fit super well in the deck if that's what its primary thing was. Is why I even sat there considering it. Gives a cleric lifelink, and I can make a 1/1 each turn. 5 gain life. Another cleric enters the battlefield. I gain 1 life, and it gets counters. I don't think so. We do have a fair number of clerics, but that's not like a major component of the deck in and of itself. Don't need a Marius Call. Nope. Don't have enough colorless spells for Forsaken Monument. Or colorless sources for that matter. If I had enough of like any one of them and a few of the others, I would probably consider it. Nope. Ooh. Yeah, Nectar Pot's too minimal impact. If I wasn't gonna run the Glade Heart, I'm not gonna bother with it. Core Celebrant is just mine, and I think we already didn't run enough of the other creatures that do that. We probably don't want Core Celebrant either. Like, I don't think I bothered with the 2/2 for 2 that does it, so think I need Lithiform Engine. No. Need Maul the Skyclave. We going to part 3 now? Did I accidentally click through both? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Mine Carver. Mine Drain. Moss Skeleton. No. Razor. Scavenger. I need Nissa. Null Priest is alright, but not super relevant. Most of my creatures are like 1 drops, so he would almost always be able to get back a dead creature if I had one. Like, especially the clerics, because almost all of them are like 1 and 2 drops, but yeah, I don't think I actually need Aura. I think I need Relic Vial. Yeah, I don't need the Scourge. Shadow's Verdict ruins me. Skyclave Apparition is fine. Yeah, I don't think I need the Apparition. Like, it's fine because it's exiling low casting cost stuff, and it can hit like all different permanent types. So I don't think I need it with all the other removal that I actually have. So flying lifelink as long as it has counters. If that creature was a cleric, you may draw a card and lose a life. If I had more clerics, because I have a bunch of clerics, but again, it's not the focal point of the deck. There just happen to be a lot of life gain clerics because that's what they do. But there are just as many angels that aren't clerics and other creature types. So, oh wait, hang on, like 1 or 2 more cards. That's all from the consumption. Okay. Alright, and that just leaves the commander set, and then we'll be all done for now. Which is good, because I have to leave for work in half an hour, so. Alright. Exile target permanent card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard. When it dies, put each permanent card exiled with it onto the battlefield under the control of that card's owner. And the Whisper Steel Dagger. Trove Warden's okay in that it landfall would be able to get back my cheap creatures, but I think I have effects for that anyway on the list, so we don't need this one as a redundant thing. Alright, well, that's everything, so I'll go through the list and add in the game text for a bunch of the cards, and next time we will start working on cutting cards and try and figure out how many, like, where we're at, and try and get it down to 60 spells and 30 or 40 lands. Then Bilbo will be done after all this time spent not working on him. But yeah, that's going to do it for me for today. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Have a good rest of your day.